Authorizing. 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 User. Confirmed you have requested access to general records about the Kasatha. Origins. Planet Kasath. The Kasathan race originate from the desert planet Kasath. This planet is located far from the packed world system. Kasath is a largely rocky and arid planet. Kasath orbits a large red giant, which is reaching the end of its lifespan. Because of this, Kasathan scientists noticed rising radiation levels on the planet, and that while it would take thousands of years before the star destroyed their planet, by then radiation would be dangerously high for most life. However, the Kasatha, being strongly traditional, largely rejected plans to colonize another planet for their new home world. A colonization plan would not be approved until the progenitor race of the Kasatha, the Witchwood, told them of a new homeland they could travel to. After the construction of the Idari, most of the Kasathis, and as much native flora and fauna from Kasath was loaded onto the Idari. The few Kasathas who refused to board the Idari tended to be from the older and wealthier families who would stand to lose the most from such a endeavor. The Idari. The Idari is the massive generational ship that was used to transport the Kasathan people as well as its native flora and fauna, and is able to replicate a facsimile of the environment of Kasath. Because of its massive size, the Idari is the only ship to be recognized as a packed world. The population of the Idari is just shy of 43,700, in contrast to Absalom Station's population of 2 million. The Idari is still governed in accordance to traditional Kasathan values and is almost entirely Kasathan, at a rate of 9 Kasatha for every 1 non-Kasatha. The Idari's primary purpose was to be a generational ship, to ferry the Kasathan people so they could conquer and resettle Akaton. However, when the massive vessel arrived, the Kasatha learned the Red Planet was already too populated to accommodate both races peacefully, and too well defended, because of technological and economic advances that the Kasatha were unable to compensate for during the centuries-long sublight voyage to initiate Manifest Destiny. Although still capable to travel to distant systems, the Idari has since diverted their power to aid the Crucibles, the ship's government-run manufacturing sector. Since then, the Idari has been known for the manufacture of weapons, armor, and starships, such as the widely popular Hidden Soldier and Kasatha Mercaccord armor lines. The starships produced by the Idari are considered to be highly aesthetically pleasing, very maneuverable, and boast a unique modular design, using a magnetic field instead of conventional welds, allowing them to bind parts together or be easily rearranged without many of the time-consuming faculties needed by most starships. The Idari's gravity, which is about 1.5 of the gravity on Absalom Station, is granted through the ship's rotating cylinder, the drum, and is the largest part of the ship's body. Gleaming cities, rolling parks, and glass-walled hydroponic farm towers lie under the rotating walls. The Idari has an artificial 27-hour day period broken into 3 9-hour portions. Kasathan government and people. Government on the Idari is overseen by the Kasathan Doyenet, a representative council, composed of the most respected members of the Kasatha milieu. These Doyens act as an aristocracy, and an enclave of Doyen and their close relatives enjoy a lifestyle high above the common citizens. However, this position of privilege is not inherited. Instead, it's decided among the citizens, even at times against a particular Doyen's wishes. For example, a Doyen of logistics may not appreciate being pressed into a battle zone for a more intimate understanding of war logistics. All Doyens have a say in government decisions, but some Doyens have more political power than others. This depends on the current importance of the Doyen's role. An example being a Doyen of war would have more political power during times of conflict, but in more peaceful times their importance is greatly diminished. The citizens of the Idari are free to travel and emigrate without restriction. Being from a relatively wealthy planet and part of the packed worlds grants them a freedom of movement others, such as those living in the Viscarium, would never know. Most career paths on the Idari are in the government sector, maintaining the Significant requirements of a ship this size. Idarans residing on the ship for more than a year and desiring to be part of the ship's government must first accept and train for an auxiliary crew role. These roles, while mandatory, are only to be used in a catastrophe, and many Idarans take career paths without these in mind. All members of Idari society live in the different sectors side by side, and the city-like sectors that are spread throughout the drum take different themes. Kasathan traditions. Waste is rare on the Idari. Even the dead are fed into the ship's massive recyclers to be broken down into useful components. However, this is not something done without significant ceremony or care. The dead are first brought to the Shola Adata, where robed attendants, called the Adata, harvest a hair-thin slice of the dead's brain, which is preserved and added to the temple's archives. These stored samples can be used to ask questions of the dead. This is not a common occurrence. Apart from the fees needed to interact with the memories of the dead, there are many laws and customs surrounding this practice, such as questioning one who has been dead for less than 100 years requiring a warrant. A tradition for many Kasatha in their adolescence is to undertake a year-long voyage known as the tempering. During this time they're encouraged to experience other cultures. Many who have gone through this tempering feel a year is not long enough to learn from the countless cultures, and can fall into wanderlust or a life of adventure. The gods and worship. Talavid is a revered goddess of the Kasathas and is known as the storyteller. Talavid is a goddess of community, self-reliance, and tradition. She is worshipped primarily on Akitan, Brithida, the Idari, Triaxis and the Viscarium. Talavid is believed to have been born when the stories of the ancient Kasatha took form in an awareness brought on by blending ideas and the latent magic in language and communication itself. Talavid is said to not only be known as an embodiment of story, but as the eternal story itself, shared through wisdom, knowledge, and tradition above all. In Kasathan tradition, the gap was a terrible blow to the storyteller and is known as the time of silence. While accepting of most outsiders and faiths, a hated enemy of Talavid and her followers is the Church of Nyarlathotep, resenting the way that God's faithful twist stories into deadly secrets and conspiracies. Other deities of note in the Kasathan pantheon are Ibra, the inscrutable, who governs the cosmos and the mysteries of the universe; Whedon, the endless horizon, a god of discovery, exploration, equality, and freedom; Eider II, the god of history, magic and secrets; Demoratosh, the god of conquest, duty and war. Each of these gods and goddesses fall somewhere on the spectrum of good and evil and tend toward lawful or neutrality. The majority of gods the Kasatha worship have much to do with community, devotion, and exploration of space. Closing. This is the end of this data file on the Kasatha and their history. Please share this video with your friends, it helps a lot. Please subscribe to the channel to see our future videos, and remember to click the notification bell to be updated when we put a new video out. Thanks for watching 20-Sided Night, and bye for now.
Hey you rascals, thank you for watching our video. Click here to subscribe, click here to watch one of our newer videos, and click here if you feel like watching something random. Have a good day.
I'm a little red bean and have a great time to get a refund on the person who's going to be a good question.